Now it's time for Swoop Radio with Josh Sanchez. I hope you guys enjoy the show. And you heard it here, folks. Swoop Radio is back for the newest edition of the Swoop Radio station here. My apologies for the late start. My teacher came in. She was doing a tour, so it was so I had to wait for the tour to be finished. She had a couple people on the radio show showing them the radio show, so that's why Swoop Radio got on to a later start. So I apologize for that. But we are going to get right to the swing of things, starting with my first ever experience in a National Hockey League game. I went to the Flyers versus Canadiens game on Tuesday night with my friend Jake, and it was an amazing experience. For those who have never been to a Flyers game or been to a hockey game, you got to go. The atmosphere is just truly electric, and it's a must-see. You have to go to it. Starting, like, every time there was a goal scored, everyone came together, jumping, screaming, high-fiving each other. It was an amazing experience, and it got me thinking about the Flyers and their chances. Ever since the Eagles have won the Super Bowl, this team has not lost. Yes, they have lost in overtime one time, but for those who do not know hockey, if you lose in overtime, you get a point. So the Flyers right now are on an 8 or 9 game point streak, and you just got to ride with it. Right now in the standings, the Flyers are ranked third in their division, behind Pittsburgh and the Washington Capitals. However, the Pittsburgh Penguins have played an extra game than the Flyers. If the Flyers win, they will tie Pittsburgh. The Flyers play on Saturday. But if the Flyers beat Pittsburgh, they will tie them in points. But it was an amazing experience from start to finish. The Flyers were down against the Canadiens the whole game. The whole third period, they're down 2-1. The Canadiens scored a go-ahead goal with like 10 minutes left to go, and then as we approach the 2-minute mark, what hockey players do is they pull their goalie and they get an extra player out there to score. So that's what the Flyers did. They pulled their goalie, and Voracek scored off a deflection off of a Canadian player's stick right through the 5-hole, and with 1 minute left to go in the game, and then Voracek ends up winning the game in overtime too. So, and Voracek is not really a scorer. He's not really those type of guys that get you a lot of goals. So it was interesting to see him, and the Canadians were not expecting him, out of all people, to put up that shot with 2 minutes left to go in the game. He's usually the one that passes up the shot. But the Flyers won 3-2, and all they do is win right now. That's all Philly teams are doing right now. Alex Lyon, or Leon, my fault, because I know their names are pronounced a little bit differently, had 25 saves on 27 shots. He for an undrafted rookie, just thrown into the swing of things, he has done a great job. And because I know the Flyers, they're both of their goalies are hurt. So the Flyers also got a new goalie from the Detroit Red Wings. That's another team that they got. They exchanged him for, trying to double check here, they exchanged him for a couple draft picks and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Flyers go and play throughout the rest of the season. Again, they sit third in the Eastern Conference, and the Devils are right behind them. They're only 2 points back. So that's how hockey is, though. Hockey, with the addition of overtime losses and the point system, every team is going to be close from seeds 1 to seeds 8. It's always going to be a dogfight out there, and that's one thing the NHL does a really good job, and that's keeping it competitive. We see other sports like football, we have their dominant teams, and then you have the rest of the pack. Whereas in hockey, there's not really a dominant team. Everyone's close. Like the Capitals are the number one team in the Eastern in the Eastern Metropolitan Division, but they only have 75 points. The Flyers are only 3 games back from being the number one in their division. So that's how close it is from top to bottom. And it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on out. But I do have my friend Brandon. He will be on. He's coming out. He's going to talk about some basketball and some baseball with me today. It's going to be fun. So if you guys stick around for that one. Me and Brandon have, sometimes we get into heated debates about basketball, so it should be a good one. And that reminds me, everyone else that wants to come on the show, you're more than welcome to. Brandon reached out to me last night, and I'm like, all right, you can come on. So if you guys want to come on the show, just let me know in advance. But in terms of scoring, just want to throw out some couple stats here for the Flyers. Claude Giroux has 69 points. Well, coming into the Canadiens game, he had 69 points. Voracek had 65 points. He now has 13. Now he has 67 points with 13 goals in the season. Giroux has 20 goals. And Shane Couturier leads the team in goals with 29 goals. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on out. The Flyers do have a couple young defensemen in Nolan Patrick. He is a rookie. And the Flyers are now 31, 19, and 10 for the season. And the Canadiens, they have had a rough year this year, 22, 30, and 7. But I just wanted to do a quick little, started off with hockey, because I don't really talk about hockey like that. But we're going to transition and do another topic here on the Swoop radio station here on 89.1 WYBF Cavalier Radio. And here is a good discussion to talk about. I'm going to get into basketball a little bit later. But the Louisville men's basketball team, recently they had, all the allegations they had with Louisville in terms of the sex scandals for the Louisville program during the years of 2011 to 2015. Louisville staff member Andre McGee arranged parties and strippers for players and recruits on the Louisville campus. And, of course, Rick Pitino, the former coach, approved that. So you can't do that. Like, come on now. You can't hire strippers, and you can't hire all these other players all these other things just to get players to come here. That's not how you do it. And it ruins other colleges out there. So I understand why Louisville's getting a penalty for that. But the NCAA has had a double standard with giving teams penalties. You can't be unfair to Louisville and vacate their national championship, but let North Carolina continue to dominate like the way they are having. North Carolina, they're having allegations as well. We also have allegations with Michigan State. They seem to go away recently ever since Louisville's been in the number one topic in discussion. Where has Michigan State been talked about in terms of the allegations and the scandals? Because Michigan State's in a lot of trouble too. And they actually had players that were sexually assaulting females, and they still played on the team, and no one's talking about that right now because of Louisville. So to my viewers listening, don't forget about Michigan State and the scandals that they're going through just because Louisville's getting vacated from their 2013 national championship and their 2012 Final Four appearance. I think there's a lot of other players that were recruited equally on that team that deserve to be known as champions. And also during their title run in 2013, Kevin Ware broke his leg in half. And the fact that you're going to vacate that, I understand the coach firing. I understand them not being eligible to participate in the tournament play for a couple years. I understand that. But if you're going to vacate a team from winning a national championship and reaching a Final Four, then you got to be consistent with it for the other teams, such as North Carolina, Michigan State, and others that have had allegations. Because it seems like every year there's been a different college that breaks some form of NCAA rules and regulations, and then they don't get as much trouble as Louisville's getting right now. So the NCAA needs to be more consistent in terms of that. And that's what I don't like to see. I'm not a fan of inconsistencies throughout the system. We see in the NFL, Roger Goodell suspend players for hitting too high, but also fining players for hitting too high. You got to be consistent. You can't suspend one person and give another person a fine. You got to be consistent. And that's the problem I have with the NCAA right now. They're not consistent. you're going to vacate Louisville for breaking allegations, and Louisville is in a complete wrong for this situation. You don't hire strippers and other influences to get your players to come on to Louisville. That is unacceptable. But you have other programs such as North Carolina that have had allegations. Syracuse have talks. You have Michigan State and Penn State with their scandals. They didn't have their title removed when Rick Pitino was not Rick Pitino. The coach, the Penn State coach, Jerry Sandusky was there because he was doing those allegations for a long time. They didn't have any of their titles removed, so you can't be fair to one team and unfair to the others. That you're being a hypocrite and you're being hypocritical. So that's what I want you guys to think about in terms of the Louisville men's basketball team and their vacate of their wins from 2011 to 2015 and their Final Four appearance in 2012. Former head coach Rick Pitino said, "Did a few of the players partake in parties they didn't organize?" Yes, they did, Pitino said. But that had nothing to do with the extra benefit. They had nothing to do with helping their eligibility or performance in winning that championship. So what Rick Pitino was saying is, yeah, those allegations had helped them come to Louisville, but in terms of them playing and winning for a championship, the players had to earn that, and the players deserve that title. And if you're going to be very critical on Louisville, then you have to be critical on North Carolina, Michigan State, and others. That's what I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. And if that does not happen, I'm going to be fed up with college basketball, and they're going to need a change. But we're going to take a quick break here. You're listening to 89.1 WYBF FM, Radnor, Pennsylvania, here on Cavalier Radio. My friend Brandon he is at the door. So when he comes back, we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star Weekend, and we are going to talk about this maybe new playoff format. The NBA is talking about adding a 16-team playoff. But we're going to get to the music right here. And I hope you guys enjoyed that quick topic. Again, I apologize for coming in late. I had to wait for my teacher to finish her tour. But you're listening to Cavalier Radio on 89.1 WYBF FM. We'll be right back. And you guys heard it first. Brandon, I just turned on your mic. To my viewers listening, my friend Brandon Dukes is now on Swoop Radio. Give a quick little shout out, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, Brandon, you saw NBA All-Star Weekend, right? You saw the three-point contest, the dunk contest. What were your opinions on the dunk contest and three-point contest?
The three-point contest, that was like whatever. It's the same thing every year. It's just some guys shooting, Can't really be too different. Except Devin Booker, setting the record this year. But the dunk contest, it didn't really live up to it, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you on that one with the dunk contest because we saw a couple years ago, we saw Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine go at it, and it's just hard. Like whenever there's been like a great dunk contest recently, like the following year, it's very hard to. Like the following years, it takes a little bit to get another dunk contest like that. I mean, we saw on the bright side of what I thought was we saw a lot of young talent. Like we saw Donovan Mitchell, he's only 21. We saw Dennis Smith Jr., another rookie.
Yeah.
Larry Nance Jr. I was trying to think of his name. Larry Nance Jr. He was in there too. So I mean, there was a lot of like good like young talent.
Yeah, definitely.
That I think it's good for the league, and we see that, with like baseball and stuff like that. But in terms of transition, real quick, in terms of the All-Star game, do you like Team LeBron and Team Steph, or do you like it to be Eastern and West? Because I know right now, yeah, you can move the mic up too and adjust whatever you want, but Like how do you feel in terms of like the East-West or Team LeBron and Team Steph? Because we finally saw a competitive game.
Yeah, it had been a while. I kind of liked it. I thought it was better than East-West. I don't know if it's the solution, to having a better game, but it was definitely closer. The guys were obviously more interested. They were staying involved, playing defense for once in an All-Star game. We don't usually see that. So it was, and just East-West this year especially, the West just would have been too loaded.
Of course, yeah, with Jimmy Butler and Paul George coming to the West.
Yeah, like so, it would have been way too much for the East to even make it competitive, honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree because I like this format. I just think they need to televise the draft next year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they need to I want to know LeBron admitted that he picked KD first.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, duh.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, Kevin Durant is literally the best player besides LeBron James.
Exactly.
So, I just wish they would have televised the draft and added more entertainment to it. Like, they could do it, on a Sunday night on TNT.
Yeah.
Sort of like how they do, the All-Star Game announcement where they announce, who makes East and West. Yeah. If they can have it like that where who makes Team LeBron or Team Steph, whoever the captain is.
Yeah, I heard some people saying, the Saturday before or something like that, just televising it from the practice gym or whatever, picking the teams then, just doing something like that,
Yeah, and I completely agree. That's something that the NBA is going to look forward to and they need to improve on. But in terms of the game, we saw these past couple years, it's just been dunks, three-point shooting, nothing really competitive. We saw, I was watching, the history of the All-Star Game and stuff like that. Kobe Bryant hit, a go-ahead.
Yeah.
I think it was, in 06 or 08. And then it recently fell off. But I feel like adding that new format gets the players a little bit more into it. But I know with baseball, they recently changed it. It doesn't determine the World Series anymore.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that they changed that because most of the guys that are playing in the All-Star Game aren't going to make it to the championship in their respective sport. You know what I mean? So
you're right.
It's not fair for those teams that make it to have their fate determined by something like that. Yeah,
and I just realized that too. I thought it I like how it added a competitiveness to it though. Mm-hmm. I understand the other teams they don't I'm just trying to think they like you said they're not going to go to the World Series, but I just thought it added a competitive fire to it.
It does.
But I know now everything's with charity and stuff like that, and you want to have your charity do really well too. Because I know for the NBA All-Star Game, the winning team got $300,000 for their charity, and then the losing team got $100,000.
Yeah, which is
so
it's cool that the leagues are doing stuff like that for
charities. Do you think the NFL needs to change their Pro Bowl or?
I mean, I don't really know what you could change it to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I know they try to do Team Dion and Team Jerry Rice. Or it didn't work. The Pro Bowl, yeah. I'm never gonna watch the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, no.
It's just the timing of it too.
That's never interested me. Yeah, I used to watch it sometimes back when it was after the Super Bowl, but now that it's before the Super Bowl, especially this year with the Eagles being in it, I just wasn't interested at all in the Pro Bowl. It was just something sitting there on Sunday. Oh, is there nothing else on TV? All right, I'll throw it on. But it just
I completely agree with that one. But now sticking with basketball, do you know who won the skills competition?
Yeah, it was Dinwiddie, right?
Yeah, Dinwiddie. Yeah, and he's had a lot of people have been didn't even realize that he won it that because he's from the Nets.
Yeah.
And everyone that plays for the Nets, no one really cares about unless you're D'Angelo Russell. But other than him, I don't really care about him either because he's always been known as the guy that ratted out Nick Young and won it out of LA, or he didn't want out of LA, but they traded him for Lonzo. But who do you think's gonna win Rookie of the Year? Who do you got? Do you got Simmons, or do you think Donovan Mitchell's keeping it close? Or
I think Simmons will ultimately end up winning if he keeps up on the pace he's been at. He's been playing well coming into the break, and honestly, he's just going to get better once he can start to shoot outside the restricted area and stuff like that. But I think Mitchell will keep it close. He's been having a really good year, but yeah, I think it's Simmons' race to lose.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I couldn't. It made me sick to my stomach, though, when Stephen A. Smith and other media members said that Donovan Mitchell's already a lock for the Rookie of the Year. How can you say that someone's a lock when he's only better in the other rookie in scoring? Like that's the only thing that he's better. And I understand though he leads his team.
Yeah.
So he's the number one option, whereas Simmons is the number two. I get that.